The voicemail was from my own phone number, recorded 3 hours before I ever sent it. It started small, the way these things always do. A login notification from a browser I didn't recognize, in a city I'd never visited. I changed my password. 20 minutes later, another notification. Same city, same device. I turned my phone off that night just to feel like I'd won something. The next morning, a text sat in my outbox that I never wrote, sent to my own mother. 3 words, "I'm not okay." She'd already replied, worried, asking what was wrong. I had no memory of typing it. My phone showed the message leaving my number at 2:47 a.m. I'd been asleep since 11. I called my carrier. They confirmed only one SIM was active on my account. Mine. No cloning, no duplicate line, nothing that should explain a second device using my identity. "Whoever's doing this," the technician said carefully, "has your cloud login, not your SIM." Which meant somewhere, on some device I'd never touched, someone was living inside my digital life in real time, reading my messages as they arrived, sometimes faster than I could. I traced the login city through the IP address. A security forum stranger helped me decode. 40 minutes from my apartment, not a stranger's town. Mine, practically, a rental complex I'd interviewed at for a job 2 years ago and never taken. I should have gone to the police first. I didn't. I drove there instead, because some part of me needed to know if this was a person or just a very good lie I was telling myself. The apartment directory listed a name I recognized immediately. My own, spelled slightly wrong, 1 letter swapped, the kind of typo an identity thief makes when they're copying a document too fast to notice. Unit 214. I stood outside that door longer than I want to admit. A woman answered. She had my haircut, my coat, the green one I thought I'd lost at a coffee shop last winter. On her kitchen counter, behind her, I could see a printed photo of my childhood home, taped to the fridge, a picture that only existed in an old family album I hadn't opened in years, one I definitely hadn't posted anywhere online. She didn't ask who I was. She said my name first try, no hesitation, the way you'd greet someone you saw every day. Then she looked past me out toward the parking lot and said, "You're usually home by 6. Not a question. A correction like I'd broken a schedule only she was keeping. I asked her how she knew that. She just smiled and closed the door. I called the police from my car and didn't move until they arrived. The officer who went up first came back down faster than I expected and told me the unit was empty. Completely empty. No furniture, no woman, dust undisturbed on the windowsill like nobody had opened it in months. When I said she'd just been standing there minutes ago, he checked the leasing office's key log without a word. According to their system, no one had entered that unit in over 4 hours. That night my phone buzzed once, a voicemail from my own number, time-stamped an hour into the future. I played it before I could stop myself. There was no message, just breathing close to the microphone, and underneath it, the small, unmistakable sound of my own keys jingling, the one still sitting in my jacket pocket the entire time. The inspectors told me the attic hatch had been painted shut for 30 years. I asked them then why there was a coffee mug up there, still warm. I bought the house in March, a foreclosure, cheap, ugly carpet, but good bones. My aunt used to say a house tells you what it needs within the first 30 days. Mine told me on day 4. I found a spoon in the bathroom sink. Not mine. Mismatched, tarnished, the kind you'd find at an estate sale. I figured it came with the place, tossed it in a drawer, didn't think about it again. Day 9, the hallway light was on when I got home. I never used that switch. The bulb had been broken since I moved in. Day 12, my dog wouldn't go near the linen closet. She'd stand in the hallway and just stare at the door, ears back, refusing to eat until I dragged her away. I told myself it was an old house settling. Old houses do that, but old houses don't rearrange your kitchen. I came home on day 15 to find every cabinet door closed except one, the one above the stove, hanging wide open, a single plate set on the counter beneath it. Clean, centered, like it was waiting for something to be served on it. That's when I called a contractor about the attic. He said the hatch in the hallway ceiling looked painted over, original to the house. Decades of dry paint sealing the seam. Nobody's been up there in a long time, he told me, tapping it with a screwdriver. Then he stopped tapping. He'd found a second hatch, smaller, tucked behind a beam in the closet my dog wouldn't go near. This one wasn't painted shut. This one had fresh handprints in the dust around the edge. He wouldn't open it. Called the police instead. They found a mattress up there, The blanket still holding the shape of someone who'd only just gotten up, a camping mug on its side, coffee still faintly warm, like whoever left it had heard footsteps on the stairs and had to move fast. A row of canned food lined up with the labels facing out, the way you'd organize a pantry if you were planning to stay a while. And a spiral notebook, pages of it in small, careful handwriting, logging what time I left for work, what time I got home, what I ate for dinner on nights I ordered in. A line, dated 4 days earlier, that just said, "She moved the plant again." I hadn't told anyone I'd moved that plant. I hadn't even told myself. I'd done it without thinking, the way you do. The last page was the one that made the detective go quiet. A family photo, one that had hung in my downstairs hallway since I moved in. My aunt, my grandmother, a house I didn't recognize, was taped inside the notebook's back cover. I hadn't noticed it was missing from the wall until he asked me to check. On a shelf beside a battery-powered lantern sat a printed real estate listing for the house, dated the week before I closed on it. The detective asked if I recognized the handwriting. I didn't. He asked if I'd changed the locks after buying the house. I had, every lock except the crawlspace door beneath the porch, because nobody told me it existed until that afternoon, when they found it standing open, hinges freshly oiled, no rust at all. They never found who'd been staying there, no prints in the system, no forced entry anywhere, like whoever it was had simply been let in and never left. The case went cold within a month. I still live in the house. I had the crawlspace sealed with concrete, the attic hatches nailed shut and drywalled over. Most nights it's fine. Then last week I found the notebook again, sitting on my kitchen counter, open to a fresh page. It only had one line, in the same small handwriting. She sealed the wrong one. The passenger forgot something in my car, and the police told me not to touch it. I drive rideshare on weekends, mostly late fares, bar closings, airport runs, the occasional silent businessman on his phone the whole ride. Around 1 a.m, a man flagged me down outside a gas station instead of the pickup pin. Said his phone died, apologized twice, sat in the back seat with a black duffel bag he kept one hand on the entire ride, like it might get up and walk off without him. He didn't talk much, gave short directions, kept glancing at his phone, even though he'd told me it was dead. Twice he told me to turn down streets that weren't on the route the app suggested. My usual shortcuts, the ones I only use because I've driven this city for 2 years and know which lights run long. When I dropped him at a dark apartment complex, he paused half out of the car and said, "Thanks for taking the usual route." I told him I didn't know what he meant. He just smiled, said goodnight, and left the bag on the seat. I called out to him. He was already gone, jogging between buildings, not toward any door I could see. I figured I'd catch him at his next ride request, hand it back, easy fix. Except when I checked the app, his profile had vanished. No ride history, no trip record at all, as if the fare had never existed. I should have just dropped the bag at a police station and driven home. Instead, I unzipped it 2 inches, just enough to look, and zipped it right back up fast. A driver's license with a name that didn't match his profile photo. A stack of cash banded in a way that didn't look like anything from an ATM. And on top of it all, a Polaroid, slightly bent, of a car parked outside a gas station at night. My car. My plate clearly readable in the corner, taken from an angle I didn't recognize, like whoever held the camera had been standing somewhere I'd never once looked. I called it in. 2 officers met me in a parking lot, and the moment one of them saw what was inside, his whole posture changed. "Don't touch anything else," he said, already reaching for his radio. The other one asked me twice to describe the passenger's face, his voice tightening with every detail I gave him. They told me the ID belonged to a man reported missing 11 days earlier. The cash, the fake documents, a second phone in a side pocket still receiving texts from a number they wouldn't let me see. All of it tied to a case they weren't ready to explain to a rideshare driver in a gas station lot at 2 a.m. What they did tell me was this. The man who rode in my back seat wasn't the missing person. He was the person who'd taken his identity, and he'd been using it for over a week, right up until the moment he got into my car and asked me, almost gently, if I knew a faster way to the apartments near the river. I gave a statement. I didn't drive again for a month. 3 weeks later, a new ride request came through. Same gas station pin, same 1 a.m. hour, sent from an account with no name, no photo, and no ride history at all. I declined it. It sent again 4 minutes later. That night I went back through every ride I'd ever completed. He wasn't my first trip with him. He'd been in my back seat 3 times before, under 3 different names.